Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. It is a beautiful sunny afternoon here, and I thought I would give everybody a property tour today again. You can see some updates from the first property tour. My property looks like it has children, and it does have children, so there's going to be some messes everywhere as well. Plants are coming along. This is one of the Sarracenia tables I made with some just basic hybrids here on the table mainly. A few things are looking nice. They've all been repotted this year, and kind of some of them came up decrepit. Some of them are going to be nice looking plants. I'm a big fan of the red, of course, like everybody. But yeah, so this is just an experimental table in this section here. It is definitely a bright and sunny location, and yeah. Where can we take you next? Let's go to the bog pots just over here. The old bog pots, because we're familiar with those. They're looking really good this year because they're nice and established. They're in a medium sunny spot. This is Leucophila Tarnock with a whole bunch of linearis sundews here, some in bloom, some sphagnum moss, fly traps, some little purpurias in the front, and this is Judith Hindle here. This one here just has a couple rotundifolia sundews, and as you know, whenever I do a video like this, I pick at the weeds while I'm doing it because else it doesn't get done. The rotundifolias, they must have gotten too wet this year. They didn't come back as strong as I'd hoped, but either way, there's still some in here, and I have some being propagated right now in my propagation area. This one here, this is a nice one. This poor plant here, this is my Regelii. This spring, my new puppy unpotted this one. He ripped it out over and over. I think he did it 5 times. So it was repotted 5 times this year in the same spot. It ended up coming up kind of decrepit. This one is I'm now claiming is an unknown hybrid because the tag was obviously wrong on it. It has some nice huge lids that come up. Big plant. Good sized pictures on it. I think it was tagged as Oreophila Sand Mountain Cross Rigliana, but I just don't see it in here. But I guess it could be. I just have some other crosses of the same, and they're much different. To me, this looks more like a big Oreophila Flav or Oreophila, yeah, I don't know, but not Rigliana. It doesn't get enough of the pinched in mouth for that. Some intermediate sundews in here as well. A few more basic Venus flytraps. And yeah. So, we can take this route down this time. Go down some stairs. This could be a long video, depending on how much I want to walk and how many scenes I cut with walking. This is my relaxation area here. So this is where I come after working hard in the greenhouse all day, and you can have a little swim in the pool. It's really great. So yeah, that's nice. There's a nice bar over there that I haven't had a chance to use yet. Nice deck up there as well. We eat dinner up there sometimes. The barbecue's up there. Got my hot tub installed. I think on the last video, the first property tour, it might have just arrived. Fire pit here, which we haven't had a chance to use yet. I potted up some of my palm trees because I had to leave my big ones in the ground. More kids' toys and sunscreen, and man, it gets hot out this way. I'll go through here. This has a major cutting done on some trees to bring in some light. They were really coming over the property, so we had to, we took down the fence, and all of these trees were just like coming right down here, like 25 feet onto our property. They're actually like over this corner post for our garden, so they're a good 20 feet anyways. Here's our chickens. I don't know if they're going to be out because it's really hot right now. Oh, there's the rooster. And here they come. It looks like they're hungry. So yeah, this time of day they just kind of stay in. We have an umbrella for them, and there's some shade cloth over here. This is a big difference right here. This was a huge hedge that we removed. It was massive and like filled in this whole area, which really opened this up here. Really opened it up. There's some kiwis. And we even got some little kiwis on it. That's kind of cool. See like a little kiwi starting up here. I probably can't focus and get you up that high, but yeah. So they flowered and are definitely producing fruit here. So that's kind of nice to have some kiwi fruits. There's grapes on the other side of that pine bush there, but they're not producing much of anything. So all of this used to be a hedge. All where it was brown here used to be a hedge. It was just the most massive thing. Straight ahead of us is the biggest greenhouse, which we just did a tour in there not too long ago. So we probably won't be going inside it per se. The little greenhouse I brought with me with some Sarracenias in. We can go have a look here. This is the framework for another greenhouse right here while we're passing by it. Probably get a different shot of it in a second when we come back out. So this one here, we had some other trees. This one had a big limb on it. There was like a sucker that came off. We had that one done. This is a deer adorer tree. And every time I turned around, it was raining pine needles on us. It was quite big and produced quite a bit of shade back here as well. So it's gone. We left the stump because there's a bird living in the birdhouse. But that's it. We'll go into this greenhouse here. Provides a lot more light for this greenhouse. So there's some pretty cool stuff in here. This is an Atroperp, although be it one of my less colorful Atroperps for sure. The Kraken looks awesome right here. Royal Ruby. This is Leucophila Titan. It's doing really good. Here's last year's fall pictures that are still on here. And this year's spring pictures, much bigger. So Leucophilas get best pictures in the fall. So I'm really hoping that the pictures are going to blow these ones out of the water anyways. A few more plants hiding up there. It's not super full. We're definitely not at full capacity anywhere at this point. Lots of room even in these trays. My mosses and stuff are growing down below. Some cobra lilies are coming up down here. Keep them nice and low. A little bit more shaded. A little bit cooler. Here is a nice excellence picture. Horrible backlighting, so we're not going to be able to see much. Come on, can you focus at all? There we go. Anyways, yeah, so that's a nice one. That's from her bipeter there. There is another look at the greenhouse and kids' toys. So this one will go in here. I call this the goat house because I used to house goats. I quickly polyed it. And as soon as I started polying it, it was like the most windy day. It wasn't windy when I started. And then by the time I got the stuff over and it couldn't quit, the wind came up like crazy and made it a mess. But I think I'm going to actually use like a polycarbonate for it next year anyways. But I got it up this year. We did a tour in here not too long ago. So we won't spend a lot of time in here. But it gets hot in this one. This is really hot. No shade cloth. And at this point, it's just the door gets propped open for how cool I want to let it in here. Here's the first picture on my Alatanite coming up. My camera just doesn't want to focus today. I think it's just really insanely bright. This one is one of my seed grown plants. It is like my darkest plant. I think it's darker than anything else I have. Some nicer Atroperps. Remember how I was saying that first one was like the worst colored one I have? Well, that one's a much nicer one there. This one here is a kind of a weak sauce red Sumatra. Snell's Ghost. But we already did a tour in here, so we're not going to stay in here too long. And it's hot in here. Blah. Super hot. It's like 100 Fahrenheit in there right now. And propagation room right in there. So that has all my indoor propagation and stuff like that going on. It's always a mess because it's like a heavily worked in area, but there's the indoor propagation stuff. This greenhouse is going to be a temperate greenhouse for Sarracenias. We did a garden down below. We'll get to the garden in a second. So here is the main greenhouse with a huge apple tree. The greenhouse is 32 feet long, and the apple tree is just as long and like loaded with apples already. And they're big, considering the time of year. I think they're big. Poke our head in here, see how things are doing. Hydrofogger's going, misting system's going, cooling fans going. And yeah, there it is down there. So everything's looking good in here. Some cephalotus, some unguicula, helium-4 is way down there, sundews. Again, we're running at like less than half capacity right now due to just the sheer expanse of space for every category. Lots of room right now. And I'm going to just leave that door open. It's hot. So yeah, under the big apple tree, there's actually 2 apple trees side by side. We didn't get to the second one. Here's a plum tree. So it's producing something. I think these are going to be like a purple plum. It's nice to have the fruit trees around anyways. And this walk's going to take a few minutes. This is our sad little cherry tree we brought with us. We dug it out of the ground to bring it with us because it never did really good where it was. And every time we turn around, something is eating it. So poor thing like never gets a chance. We'll head down towards the bog, we call it, even though it's not really boggy at all right now. But there's our new garden, vegetable garden. So it's a good size. Again, being this is our first year here, there's like, we planted as much as we could, but stuff's just starting to come up, sort of. It reminds me of like a scene from like Orange is the New Black. It just looks like a prison in there to me. The fence is to keep the rabbits out from down low, and it is to keep the deer out from up high. And so we've seen a few different Sarracenia areas. This is another area I'm considering. It's nice and flat. This is getting to be the sunniest spot in the yard. So straight that way is south. And so, yeah, it's nothing but farmland here, which if you watched my previous videos, I described this as it used to be a bog. This whole area was one big bog at one point. So ours, being it's one of the smaller properties around, it hasn't been farmed all that much, so it's still kind of in its natural state. Same with the neighbor's property here. We'll go out into the bog in just a second. Here is another Sarracenia table. It's crazy the amount of UV light that is down here. It gets 10 degrees hotter when it's sunning out down here. You can just feel the sun burning you. I've had green plants that I've never seen these colors before. Even old pictures are going like crazy red colors. All the purpureas they're just red at this point, except for the antho-free ones here. This plant here, I swore for years was antho-free. It never turned any color, but these, even the old pictures on it, have gone like an orange color. It's just a purple veinless plant. But yeah, a few nicer things down here. Some seed grown stuff that I'm sort of looking forward to growing out. That's ended up being pretty nice. Cuprea. This is my first year with this one, which is the Purpurea with Stubiclone. So first pictures for me coming up. Some of my original plants here. This guy always washes out after. This is like my best original Ruby Corpora, but I never noticed, maybe because I just didn't pay enough attention, but they come up like awesome, and then they just sort of fade out after as the season goes on. The bugs are so crazy down here. I did try the putting some cotton swabs down there, I don't know what they're called, cotton balls down there, to stop the bugs from filling up the tubes, which has worked for the most part. Some bugs are still dumb, but I noticed the tubes are just like filling up ultra fast, so I allowed some tubes to stay open and other tubes to be filled. But when I come down here in the evening, it's just like nothing but like little bugs everywhere. I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, things are doing really well down here. There is a nice perp venosa, Montana, Transylvania. What's this one here? That is my Venosa Minor Black. Pretty nice plant. I like that one. One of my favorites. And yeah, a few of the flavas and hybrids and stuff like that. Some really nice leucophilas that they did well under lights. Oops, you went out of focus. They did well under lights. I put them out into like a transitional greenhouse, the first little one we went into, more shaded, and then I brought them out here. And the pictures coming up now are much sturdier, of course, but a little bit smaller, stouter. So this is kind of where the bog area is. Hopefully the wind isn't too much on my microphone. I can't tell. But we had the lawn tractor out here and mowed a little bit of it. As you start to walk, it instantly gets squishy under your feet. It's soft because it's peat and just a layer of roots on top. So a little disappointed with how much grass there actually is growing in it. My plan is to start to restore a small section of it. I'm doing some tests on the peat right now. If you follow closely, and I got some peat out of the bog here, and first test was just I put it indoors in a grow space with 100% humidity, and I was just waiting to see if any kind of sphagnum moss starts to grow out of it. Once it was in there for a while, I flushed the pots a little bit to see what the TDS coming out of it was, and the TDS coming out was about 75. So that's again from just like all this surface crap that's on it, and cuttings and bird poop and whatever else was out here, making the TDS higher. So a little bit discouraging. After that test, I did put some little seedling Sarracenias in there in these pots, not out here, just in the pots, and some Capensis sundews to see if they grow, just to start really slowly. But yeah, so the bog goes quite far out there. And I took the peat from quite far out, further than you can see. And yeah, talking to the neighbor. It's always good to talk to your neighbors, right? You get lots of information. And he warned me because we find all kinds of garbage in the bog still. This is like sandpaper. This is my pile of stuff I found in the bog this week. It's really sad. But he was telling me that the previous owners had a fire pit down here and they were burning some stuff, and they actually lit the peat on fire underground and warned me about that. He said, we live on the wet side of the bog, so it always stays green even in the heat of the summer, the grasses, unless I cut them like I just did. But the peat catches on fire. He said one of the properties on the other side over there somewhere, not sure exactly where, but they caught their peat on fire and it burned for like a couple years underground, even through winters and everything. It took them a while to get it out. So we got to be really careful about that we don't light our ground on fire. Who knew? But anyways, yeah, so that is a 20-minute tour here of the property. Kind of gives you a look at what's going on. And yeah, I love down here from the Sarracenia. It's so far away though. I do have water down here, so that's good. But it's a whole different world down here. When the sun is out, it's so hot and scorching. And in different seasons, there was like ice on the pond down on this Saraceni table down here when there shouldn't have even been like frost. At the first table I showed you, different conditions again, not quite as sunny, but a lot more stable in the cooler times, we'll say. So I'm unsure what to do. This area right here would just be such a nice spot for, it's bigger than it looks too. So it's like 200 feet across right here. So it'd be a nice spot for a greenhouse somewhere in here, in that pile of branches sort of thing. I think we'll limb up these trees right here as well, so we let in some more sunlight. But I think in order to leave Saraceni down here, I'm going to want to put a greenhouse down here, or move these guys up for the winter, come fall, into the other Saraceni table, or greenhouses that I don't have built yet, or whatever it's going to be. But anyways, that is my tour for today of the property. Hope you guys like the progress we're making. It's been a busy 3 months. I do feel we're coming along nicely. It's nice having so much room to expand on everything and take our time and decide what we want to do with everything and that sort of thing. Be cool to even have tables out in the bog that man, the sunlight out there would be crazy for them. But anyways, is what it is. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys endured the whole 20 minutes of this video. I appreciate that, and we will see you next time. Bye for now, guys.